Dubai. Dubai is a flashy place. You can earn a lot. You can spend a lot. If you're a very good planner, you can save. All of a sudden, I took a visit visa and landed in Sharjah. I started applying through the Gulf News. I went to internet cafes. I started, and in a week's time, I got 2 interviews. In the 2007 to 2010 period, most of the Sri Lankan young bankers moved for better opportunities. At that time, the average salary was about 12,000 dirhams. The savings was enormous. So I was reluctant to come back to Sri Lanka. And Sri Lankans have a very good reputation in banks and in other industries. Because I was also involved in recruitment when I went to a senior level. First thing, you should have a good LinkedIn profile, not a detailed CV which runs for 4 pages. Getting an employment visa is not a big deal. If you are selected in a bank, within 2-3 days they will get you the visa. A lot of talent is flooded there, so you have to be extraordinary to be selected.
Hi everyone, welcome to the first episode of DreamShift podcast where we talk about jobs, careers, and a little bit of everything in between. Today we have a very special guest with me, and he is why not Dinesh? You are going to give me a small introduction about you.
Yeah, my name is Dinesh Dayalan. Currently, I live in New Zealand. I was in Dubai, United Arab Emirates for 17 years working as a senior banker in 3 local banks. Then in 2023, I moved to New Zealand.
Amazing, amazing. So then let's straight away get to the point, right? You were at Sri Lanka and then you worked in UAE, Dubai area, Middle East area, and also you have recently migrated to New Zealand. So if I go back to at the start of your career where you started, I think in Sri Lanka. So you can give like a small introduction from your transition from here to the Dubai market. How did it go? How was the transition look like?
Yeah. So I have worked in 3 markets. The initial market, as all of us do, it was the Sri Lankan market, where since I was a kid, I wanted to join a bank. Seeing all my cousins doing well, being bankers, I always had that inspiration to join a bank. My father was pushing me. So as soon as I finished my school in Wesley College, Colombo, I started as a banking trainee in Commercial Bank of Ceylon. I was very eager to. I was a youngster, and I was always had that eager to grow. So from operations, I had an opportunity to move to credit. So Commercial Bank is one of the leading banks in Sri Lanka, which was the primary platform for me. I started doing credit analysis, structuring credit proposals for SMEs in Sri Lanka. Then, after working for 7 years, I always wanted to explore and grow my career. So, Middle East was one of the key markets that you can make money. It's a tax heaven, right? So, all of a sudden, I took a visit visa and landed in Sharjah, called a friend, got support from him for lodging. Then I started applying through Gulf News at that time in 2007. From 2007 onwards, I was in Middle East. So I started applying through the Gulf News. I went to internet cafes. I started, and in a week's time, I got 2 interviews. One in a local bank in Dubai. The second was HSBC Dubai. So you have that was in 2007. Internet was not much popular, and you didn't
Mhm.
have much websites. But there is a newspaper called Gulf News, which was about 2 dirhams.
Okay.
So I used to go early morning, go to the grocery shop and buy this newspaper and look for advertisements. So in those advertisements, mostly uh, uh, job agents post their advertisements in small blocks, the traditional way. So I
Yeah.
highlight those, go to internet cafe and send an email with my CV. So I have been doing it for about 1.5 weeks. At that time, 2007 was the growth phase in the Middle East market. So there were so many
Hmm.
opportunities. So unfortunately, I did not have much corporate exposure. I only had the local banking experience, but the market was growing at a very fast pace. So there were opportunities given to everyone who entered the Middle East market. So if you see the 2007 to 2010 period, Most of the Sri Lankan young bankers, whether it's commercial bank, whether it's Sampath Bank, whether it's Hat National Bank, a lot of bankers moved for better opportunities. At that time the average salary was about 12,000 dirhams. So it was a substantial
At that
amount.
time, what was the conversion rate look like
At,
12,000
at
dirhams?
that time
12,000,
it
sorry.
was like now currently it goes at 80. At that time it was about
Mhm.
27 rupees.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, that was a good break. So
Hmm.
my intention at that time was, I was not married. My intention at that time was to stay in Middle East for 2 years, earn as much as possible, settle my housing loan. There was a small car loan. I wanted to settle it as quickly as possible and come back to Sri Lanka and to join another bank. But you know, the exposure that I got in Middle East or in Dubai, the growth, the knowledge, uh, the savings was enormous. So I was
Hmm.
reluctant to come back to Sri Lanka. I told my wife that you being a chartered accountant, a CIMA qualified accountant, you have a lot of opportunities here. You come and join me in Middle East. So it was a bit hard decision to leave our parents and relatives and our comfort place, space to move out. But Dubai is one of the best places I have ever worked. If you are a good planner, you can do very well in Dubai. It's a flashy lifestyle. You will have everything what you need, but if you are careful and if you have a budget and if you spend according to it, you can earn a lot of money there.
Amazing, amazing. So you told us about back then it was 10,000 dirhams, right? If I'm not wrong. 12,000. Okay, that's I think close to 8, 9 lakhs at that time. From Melkia. Yeah. So just yeah, yeah, that was good salary at that time, before all the inflation stuff happened. So I just wondered, like, since like today's job market, it's very competitive, right? From 2020 to 2000, like mostly during the economic crisis time, and just before that, the COVID time, so many people from Sri Lanka tried to go to Middle East, and there's a massive competition. Because of that, there was a visa problem, so many problems happened, right? So, like, let's compare back then to now. Like, basically, you said like there were so many opportunities, the market was growing back then, and so many Sri Lankan banking professionals went there. So, if you are to like give some like comparison and also some advices for the current job seekers who are planning to apply for Dubai, because I recently even worked with like three banking professionals who landed jobs, senior relationship managers, customer relationship officers. So, what are your thoughts and advices for them?
That's a very good question. Dubai is a market which has a lot of opportunities and they are open. They don't look for certain nationalities. They don't look for, there is no discrimination at all when it comes to the selection process. And Sri Lankans have a very good reputation in banks and in other industries because fortunately we are known as trustworthy people among Arabs and other nationalities. Dubai is an open market. There are 180 plus nationalities. It's a multicultural. It's a nation which is inclusive. They welcome you all. If you are have the right talent, you can survive. So there are few things that you need to develop before you enter the Dubai market. First thing is you should have a very strong LinkedIn profile. LinkedIn is widely used in Dubai. Each and every banker in Dubai, 99.99%, has a LinkedIn profile, and they will very carefully evaluate the LinkedIn profile before they do a selection. That's one. Uh, because I was also involved in recruitment when I went to a senior level. I started helping the bank to recruit people, especially the Sri Lankan nationalities who are coming. I supported them for placements. So first thing, you should have a good LinkedIn profile. Second, you should have a very good CV, not a detailed CV which runs for 4 pages, because no one in Dubai has time to read it. I would request you all to stick into 1 page, maximum 1.5 page, because the first thing that when CV comes to us, the first thing that we will look at is, okay, what is your experience? Where do you work? What sort of experience you have? Key points. If you have worked in corporate banking, write corporate banking. So much of the portfolios, complex accounts, experience, right? Then, second thing is um, your academic qualifications, right? Academic qualification plays a major role in Dubai because most 95% of the employees are qualified people, right? So you have to highlight your academic qualifications. Please you don't have to put referees with Sri Lankan addresses, Sri Lankan contacts. Do not put that. They will call your referees when you are selected. So they don't want to see the referees now. So don't make your CVs long, right? Put local details. When you apply for any banks in Dubai, you need to put local details, local telephone number, local address, because they are not interested and keen in recruiting people from Sri Lanka, because there is enough people in the Dubai market, enough qualified people, trying to get into the banks. Uh, there are a lot. So, with the moment they see, oh, he's from Sri Lanka, so they will put the CV aside. So, make it short. Put the UAE telephone numbers. Put your visa status very clearly that you are on a visit visa, because most of our friends come to Dubai with visit visas. Getting an employment visa is not a big deal. If you are selected in a bank, within 2-3 days they will get you the visa, right? So that's not a problem. Put your local contacts number, highlight your key experiences. uh, don't talk too much about what you have done. Don't talk about hobbies. It's a completely different market. Don't talk about your hobbies. Don't talk about your school prefect, athletics I have done, sports. No, they are very much focused on your experience, and your academic qualifications. Don't talk about that you are a senior prefect in a school, that you are in that Hindu Students Union, you are in the Tamil Literary Union. They don't want to see all these information. So I'm sure, Metsara, you will be guiding your clients, and you have enough experience in creating CVs for certain markets. So New Zealand market is completely different. I'll come back that in a moment. But in Dubai, your CV speaks. So you should have a very strong resume to present yourself. That is very important,
Amazing.
right? So that's about the CV. So we'll come to the interview part.
Yeah, yeah. For sure, for sure. So amazing points. Have a very good LinkedIn profile because LinkedIn is widely used in UAE market, Dubai market, and Middle East entirely, and also a good CV. So one more main thing you mentioned there, like there are so many people I've seen from Sri Lanka and so many other countries going to Dubai from visit visa and then applying for jobs. So what are the advices or what are the tips you can give to those people to land a job with a sponsorship, visa sponsorship?
Yeah. So anyone who is going into the market will go with a visit visa like me. I have seen a lot of people, Sri Lankan bankers, coming through the visit visa, 3 months visit visa, which gives you 90 days to find a job. In good old days, it was very easy. You don't have to have connections, because there were very few opportunities, no, very long, very there were a number of opportunities for very few people, right? So when the moment they see that you are a banker, you have banking experience, you can enter the market in a junior role, a mid role, and then elevate yourself. But now it is not the case because it is flooded with people. A lot of people, even from the Western countries, move to Dubai to get the benefits. It's a tax haven. It's a lovely place. It is the most secured place in the world to live. It gives you every opportunity. Whatever you wanted to drive a Ferrari, here you go. You can buy a Ferrari. If you wanted to live in a luxurious house, you can live, even with a reasonable salary. So The lot of lot of talent is flooded there. So you have to be extraordinary, or you have to be the fittest to be selected, right? To do that, as I told, that you should have a good LinkedIn profile. Secondly, there are senior bankers in Dubai working, Sri Lankans working as senior bankers. I have in multiple banks. The the Sri Lankan network, or the bankers, huge numbers, all most of them working at very senior level, who can support you. So through LinkedIn, through your connections, you need to build that network, right? Where whenever there is a CV for me coming from Sri Lanka, I always tried my level best to support within my organization, try to recommend, try to see, try to meet first, meet the candidate and evaluate whether he's fit enough to work in a bank. Because there are some false information. Please do not put any false information in the CV. It will be a disqualification for you. So be careful when you're writing the facts in the CV. Please do not put any. So the moment they're very experienced people, the interviewers, right? The moment they see you, and if the 2-3 questions, they will be able to evaluate your capabilities, and they will be able to tell you, because they're seeing 100 people per day, right? So they will be able to, by looking at the CV and by talking to you, they will be able to see, figure out easily whether you have put the truth or not. So please don't put that. So the connections is very important. Through connections, I have seen hundreds of people getting placements. So first, have the best CV with the support of team, DreamShift. Metsara will do the job for you. Your first box is ticked. Second, LinkedIn profile. Metsara will help you to prepare a nice LinkedIn profile based on the market, right? Your Metsara has enough experience. You have enough experience how to create how to fine tune a LinkedIn for the Middle East market, how to fine tune a LinkedIn for the New Zealand market. It has its own ways and means, right? And the third thing is, you need to develop that connections. Any Sri Lankan who you will connect it through LinkedIn will never decline your request. I have helped a lot of people who have approached me through LinkedIn, then send a polite message whether you meet, right? First point is that meeting. Can we meet for a coffee? No one will say no. Yeah, come on a Friday, let's meet. So meeting and just getting a LinkedIn connection will not help. You have to take that extra step and send a very polite message. So, I'm here for a job search. I know that you have been supporting people. I want to get to know about the market. Don't tell that I want a job first. I want to, you know, understand the market. I want to understand the techniques. Go and sit with that person. They will never say no. They will invite you. People are busy in Middle East, Dubai, but still, a moment you get a message from a Sri Lankan, they will respect you and they will call you for a coffee. Go sit with them. Don't push them and ask them for a job. If you are fit enough, they will offer you. Okay, I then you build that rapport. It's important to build that rapport, Metsara. Show your prominence, show your ability, talk about markets, talk about the Sri Lankan market, talk about what you have done, talk about your aspirations, talk about your goals. So they will have a clear indication. So there are people who have come to me like this and presented themselves. There were few candidates who are very good. So I pushed through my organization. I have got placements. If they do not have placement, they will have connections, because there is Sri Lankan Bankers Association. I will send you all the details. You can,
Yeah,
the
add to the
president is
description
Istiak
and
Rasik. Yeah, president is Istiak Rasik. There are few senior bankers who are in that. It's a non-profit organization. They help the Sri Lankan. So connect with them, right? So they are very helpful. So they will either find you a job within your organization, or they will tell you, okay, they will refer you to a friend. They have very good connections. So that is one of the other important thing that you have to do: building connections, meeting people, improving, enhancing your network to find a potential job.
Amazing, amazing. Great advice, Dinesh. Once again, have a good LinkedIn profile, have a good CV, and then connect with people, like network properly, like not just send a, like a normal connection request and wait for the other person to respond or send so many messages to a recruiter. Like you can genuinely have a connection. I think that's like missing these days a lot because like we are used to Facebook and lots of other social media and we just like follow each other and then like we don't initiate that first step or build that rapport with the person directly. Like, send a message like, okay, I'm looking for a job. Like, don't do that. As you mentioned, like clearly we need to make sure we are having like a proper conversation with the other person rather than asking for help because it should be at least like a win-win situation for each of us. I know the other person won't get a lot, but other person at least like get a good self-satisfaction. I think that would be the most important case here. And so since you mentioned about like the CV writing process, like I will highlight a few things which we realized working with a lot of people from professionals from Middle East and especially Dubai. So one main thing most of the clients face when it comes to job application process is their CVs, as you clearly mentioned, being very lengthy, like more than two, three, sometimes they go for 4, 5 pages, which is very difficult for people to track because at the end of the day, you need to realize like the people who are behind the recruitment also are humans, right? So you need to make sure you are only mentioning things which you need and which you're supposed to mention. As you mentioned, not hobbies, not your school career. Just mention like things which are professional and relevant for the job. So I think when Dinesh, you reached us out in 2023. So one main thing we had as a problem was you also had a lengthy career. So to mention everything briefly within those 1 to 2 pages, I think what you can mainly look at is understand the job market, do a job market research, understand what the keywords look like, and then put them all together in a way that you will brand yourself and you will make you stand out. You can add a key projects and career highlight section to highlight your unique projects you have done, the results you have driven, and the portfolios you have worked with. And then you can add a work experience section. Have a nice profile summary, have areas of expertise section. I will link a guide on the description to go ahead with that. So I think you have delivered a lot about the Middle East market. Now let's come to the phase where you and me have the conversation about you want to go to New Zealand, right? So what
Yeah,
brought you to that point where you wanted to apply, and what was the process after that?
yeah. So, Metsara, before going into that,
Sure.
I just wanted to highlight that my CV was 4 page when I went to Middle East. That was 2007, right? That was long back, right? So at that time, people had time to read all those information,
Hmm.
right? So since 2007, all I did was I built my connections with in the banking network, and I moved bank through the connections. CV was just a document. People knew me, so that they didn't have time to read through it,
Hmm.
right? So when 2007 to 2020s, and when the time moved,
Hmm.
people have very limited time. That is why when I see a 4 page CV, I don't even bother to read it, because I don't have time to go into that and look for details, right? That is why I always say make it to 1 page or maximum 1.5 page. So, so I remember I came to you with a 4 page CV, and you made it very short. Initially, I thought that, oh, most of my information is not there. But then later on, I realized that, yeah, when I evaluated CVs, I used to put away the 4 pages. So that synergy is matched. So that was the moment that when I came, I gave you a 4 page, and thanks for refining my CV, fine tuning it and making it 1.5 page, so that people in New Zealand had, you know, I was selected eventually into a bank, right? So when I approached you, I was in a transition phase to go to a new country. New Zealand is a completely a different market. It's a small market. It is not like large as big market. There were more than 53 banks in Dubai, international and local banks. There had been always movements within the country and outside. There were a lot of opportunities. But New Zealand, there are 4 Australian banks and 1 local, fully owned local bank. So there are about 4 to 5 banks maximum. So the opportunities are very, very limited in the New Zealand market. Connections is very important in this market. Without connections, you cannot have a placement. Whether you are bringing in 20 years Middle East experience, whether you are bringing in corporate and investment banking experience, whether you have dealt with $5-6 billion portfolio, whether you have done structured financing for 200 to 300 to $500 million, doesn't give any advantage in the New Zealand market. It's a completely different market, right? LinkedIn plays a major role in the New Zealand market as well. People are very active in the social media. People are very active in the LinkedIn platforms. 90% of the job opportunities are through connections and through LinkedIn. So I would rate the LinkedIn platform as the number one to make connections. If you are a newcomer to New Zealand, you will not know people, right? So the only way that you can get connected is through LinkedIn. There are multiple banks, you can search, you can go for a gold membership subscription. Initially, there is a free subscription for a few months. You can avail that service, you can get connected at the same way that I did. You have to request for meetings, etc.
Hmm.
The moment you meet people, whether there's an opportunity or no, that meeting point is the key. You have to present your knowledge. That is the opportunity for you to showcase your knowledge, your expertise, and your experience to the person whom you are meeting. You have to convince them, right? When you speak, be you should have a good knowledge, experience, and you have to showcase it. That is that 5-10 minutes that you are meeting with the potential employer or the new connection is the time to express yourself. Don't talk about hobbies and things. Express yourself on what capacities, capabilities that you have, what kind of deals that you have. Yeah. So when they come to know that you are an experienced person, not like these two markets operate in a different way. Here, it's all about connections as well as your experience counts a little bit, but the time, you have to be extremely lucky to get into a market. There are a lot of people in New Zealand seeking senior bankers from Middle East, from Sri Lanka, seeking opportunities, but the opportunities are limited. But you will never know when that opportunity will knock your door. So you should not get frustrated. It will take much longer time than any other markets to enter into a bank, but a fair opportunity will be given to everyone. But you have to extremely perform well in your interview, and you have to do well in the exam. Sometimes there will be an examination conducted by the potential employer. You have to do well, and you have to express yourself. Understanding their slang and the way of speaking is always a bit of challenge for a newcomer,
Hmm.
because the Australian way of
Yeah.
pronunciation and the New Zealand way of pronunciation is a bit difficult. Even for me, I have worked with a lot of Europeans and whites in the Middle East market, but still, when I came to New Zealand, it was a big challenge for me. But it's important to eye contact and read between lines. It's very important to listen carefully. One important piece of advice: you should not cut them off when you speak. You have to clearly listen to understand their question. I did this mistake a couple of times. In order to show that you are knowledgeable, you try to override
Hmm.
them, you cut them off, and you express. Don't ever do that. Listen to people very carefully, and if you do not understand their language or what they are saying, you can always go back to them and ask, excuse me, I didn't understand your question. Can you add more color into it? Or can you please explain a bit? They will not hesitate to do that. They will clearly, they will, they will respect your thoughts in this part of the world, and they will clearly ask your question. And stick to the point. Don't deviate from the topics. Talk about the point and ask them back. I hope that I have answered your question. Are you happy with my answer, or do you want me to elaborate more? This is the way. This way doesn't work in the Middle East, right? Middle East market, they will look for your experience, they will look for your knowledge. The more you speak, the more you express is what is the requirement. Here, it is a bit different, right? The culture, inclusiveness, soft speaking, family, contribution. They will talk about your family. They will talk about your hobbies. It is not about only about work in the New Zealand market, right? It's a country which gives you a good work-life balance. They're very keen to know about your family background, your children, what they're doing, because they care a lot on that part, right? So work-life balance is a very important. But in the Middle East market, it is not. It is important, but it is not that much important. They don't want to know about much about personal matters, but more about the professional. Here, it's a 50-50. They wanted to know 50% of what you have done, and 50% of your family is your hobbies, and because work-life balance and happiness is a key factor to this market.
Amazing, amazing. That sounds very interesting market to work, and that's why I think most of the people are trying to go to now Oceania countries like Australia and New Zealand because of the and also the quality of the life they are getting in, right? So small question here. So in Dubai, you mentioned there are people coming from visit visa and applying, right? So in New Zealand, like from your experience, not just in Sri Lanka, like other people, like when they're applying, what are the ways they usually follow? They apply from their home country, or how does the process work?
Um, So see, the New Zealand, the visit visa doesn't work in this part of the world, because the moment you come as a visitor, it's a visitor.
Yeah,
You cannot work. So in the visit visa, it's very clearly mentions that you cannot work. So basically, you cannot come with a visit visa to find a job in this part of the world. Please don't do that mistake, right? But in New Zealand, you have to find a way. You have to read the Immigration New Zealand website. There are a lot of skill migration. There are a lot of people who advise immigration advisors. There are immigration lawyers. So you have to take one of their services, hire one of them to understand the best pathway.
yeah.
They will be in a better position after evaluating your CV and experience. They will tell you the best pathway for you. So the best way, if one person wants to move into this market, is to consult an immigration advisor uh, to find the best way.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. So New Zealand, then let's come to we talked about the UAE market, Dubai, then came to New Zealand and talk about the job application process. When it comes to the strong factor you mentioned here is the work-life balance and almost the quality of the life, right? How do you think it compares to Middle East? Because Middle East also you mentioned like Dubai, it's a great country to earn, great country to save, great country to live. So how do you compare these and your honest thoughts about this?
Yeah, it's see, both markets are good, but it is depends on your requirement, right? For me, during my young age, my intention was to earn as much as possible to have a better life, to save for the future. So my requirement at that time was that. So that was the best time that I lived in Middle East for 17 years, where I put a lot of effort. I was I was able to work more hours, and learn learn new things to support my career. So that is a good platform for a youngster to enter the market, even a middle-aged person. But New Zealand, there are people who come in the early stage to New Zealand also, but it has its own pros and cons. See, it's similar. It's very difficult to differentiate these two markets, but one, Middle East, more vibrant, uh, more energetic, more opportunities. New Zealand, on the other way, gives you the work-life balance, good quality life, time to spend with your children. Banking is complex. There are complex deals, but you know, it it's all about how your requirement is, what your requirement is, and how your aspirations are. So different markets, these two different market caters to different level of people, right? But there is no differentiation. Like, okay, when I wanted, I didn't have a choice. When I was 27, I moved to 27, 28. When I moved to Dubai, my main intention was my career growth and my uh, uh, savings. That was the biggest motive, right? That pushed me to this market, right? And I didn't want to look at other options, but because this was close to my home, so I could always travel back whenever I wanted. So my requirements at that time. So when I got married, and when my children growing, my requirements were different, right? I wanted to give them a better lifestyle, a better platform. We didn't want to leave our children alone for their higher educations. So that requirements were different. So that requirements to fulfill those requirements, New Zealand was the best option for me. So based on your requirements, based on your aspirations, based on what you wanted to do, you have to, you know, clearly think and take a decision. But both markets are not easy markets to enter. There is always bottlenecks. There is always teething issues. Whenever you enter the market, you have to patiently work towards your goal. You should not get frustrated. There could be delays here and there to get a placement, but eventually you will get it.
Amazing, amazing. As you mentioned, like good things always like there's this even quote, right? Good things are hard to come by. It's amazing to get the opportunity. Like you need to work hard, like properly have the network, have the portfolio build, have the proper connections, and then apply. Amazing discussion so far, Dinesh. Starting from your career from Sri Lanka to go to Middle East, coming to New Zealand, settling down there. I think I've also learned a lot of facts like which I couldn't talk to you about earlier. So amazing discussion. So I think to end the discussion with one take home message, what would you like to give for all the job seekers and everyone who's listening to this podcast?
So the most important thing is, Metsara, is the connections. You do not hesitate to build your connections. 95% of your connections will not be fruitful, but it is for you. It is an investment, right? Talk to people, improve your communication, present yourself. you know it's all about survival of fittest, right? So you need to express your thoughts, you need to build the connections, whether it's a Dubai market, whether it's a Middle East market, whether it's a New Zealand market. The connections are very important. There are important there are enough ways and means. LinkedIn is the best way to build your connections, right? Especially when you go to Middle East, you have to be careful. There we have to respect their laws, regulations. So you need to be very careful. One of the key things for a job seeker in Middle East, you have to be little careful on the Facebook. There are some potential employers who will screen your Facebook profile also. So be careful on what you're posting if you are actively looking for a job in Middle East, because there are certain laws that that governs the environment, right? So you have to respect that law. You have to be careful. So build your connections, uh, talk to the connections, meet your connections, whether there is an opportunity or no. You will never know when the opportunity will knock your door. Wait for it. Don't give up. The most important thing is don't give up. When I came to New Zealand, it took few months for me to get a position in a bank. Right? I never gave up. I told myself that I will end up in a bank. Right? There had been a lot of opportunities for me to go back at the same level or a better level, but I didn't look back. I told myself that I will end up in a bank. So, you environment is challenging, opportunities are limited, but you have to hunt for that opportunity. That's it. Never give up.
Build your portfolio, build your connections, and most importantly, never give up. Thank you so much, Dinesh, for the lovely discussion and sharing your experience, sharing your valuable insights about all the three markets, Sri Lankan, Middle East, and New Zealand. So thank you very much for everyone who joined in as well. And let's see you soon with another episode. Until then, thank you so much. Take care.